miss the feeling.
For Total Home Pest Control, who are you going to call?
Call the Bug Man, 923-BUGS.
For total pest control for your home or business, call the original Salvant.
Call the Bug Man today, 923-BUGS.
Exiles from what you ask? Exiled from the radio. But now, we're on your television.
I'm Bill Perfita, he's Kevin Gallagher, and they kicked us to the curb.
But we're back.
We are back with Exiles Television on the Pelican Broadcasting Network. We're going to bring you the newsmakers. We're also going to take your calls and give you great information. It's going to be the best damn radio show on television.
Look for it on your cable system or download the app, PelicanSportsTV.com.
Eric Gaylord is back, but where has he been?
Wait, the word was that he was training to be a sumo wrestler.
Rated E.
Hello guys, it's Debbie. It's time. I've got a brand new location. 10510 Airline Highway, Baton Rouge, next to After 5 Tuxedos. We have the perfect spot to get all your wedding and formal wear needs. Come see our one-of-a-kind name brand and get great prices. With 30 years experience, the best customer service anywhere. It's Debbie's Bridal, Airline Highway, Baton Rouge. See you soon.
Hello and welcome to another week of the Clarence Bud Show here on the Pelican. Here's hoping that your weekend was an absolutely fabulous one. If not, well, as we like to say each and every Monday right about this time of the day, good Lord willing, you will still be here when the next one rolls our way, and you will have the opportunity to try it all over again. Hopefully, you took the time this weekend to celebrate America the Beautiful. Speaking of America the Beautiful, for those of you that know me, I am a typical Louisianian people person. I go to the store and I'm standing in the checkout line and, you know, something to pass the time, I will randomly start conversations with people that I've never met before. And this past weekend, it's a habit. And one that I can honestly say I'm proud of. As I would talk with people, I'd wish them a happy 4th of July. One individual in particular, you would have thought that I had insulted his mother when I wished him a happy 4th of July. And the retort from this individual was, I can't believe you celebrate the 4th of July. And of course, the natural reaction was, well, why would I not celebrate the 4th of July and America the Beautiful? Well, I can't believe you can see anything beautiful in America. You know, despite what the mainstream media, despite what the protesters and many politicians would have you to believe, there is so much beauty in America, it's almost hard to comprehend. There is immense beauty in a country that fights itself to right a wrong. In a country where at one time it was illegal for people that have my skin tone to get an education, to vote, to own property, to see over 500,000 individuals lose their lives fighting their own families so that I could be the recipient of life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness is a beautiful thing. Yes, there were dark times before that for people of color. but a nation chose to fight itself to right that wrong. And I don't know about you, but for me, that's a beautiful thing. For me, there is immense beauty in a country that honors the code, one man, one vote. Lest you forget, and for those of you that obviously slept during American history class, we're not a democracy. We are a representative republic. One man, one vote. And when all is said and done, Clarence, you forget at one time you couldn't vote. Correct. But again, a nation fought itself to correct a wrong. That's a beautiful thing. There is immense beauty in a country where we can worship the way we see fit. Or, as is the case for some, you don't have to worship at all if you don't want to. That, my friends, is a beautiful thing. All you have to do is look around the world and you will see individuals that adhere to a certain faith, be it Christian, Muslim, Buddhist, whatever, and they are persecuted by their government. Here in this country, whether you choose to worship Allah, God, whomever, you have the right to do so, unencumbered. That, my friends, is a beautiful thing. In this country, we don't have to have a draft. Why? Because enough people volunteer to defend our freedoms, our liberties, both home and abroad. When individuals, knowing at a moment's notice, could be sent overseas, could be sent anywhere on the planet to fight, not only for Americans, but on behalf of others who cannot defend themselves, and they do it voluntarily, that, my friends, is a beautiful thing. As you can probably hear outside, it is pouring down. And hopefully I'll be able to time all of this just right. So when I say it's a beautiful thing, boom, you hear the thunder, right? There is immense beauty in a country where you can express your opinion on anything, including the government. Do you realize, and hopefully this past weekend, you took the time to entertain the fact that with all the upheaval in our country today, with all the folks out protesting, some violently, think back not too very long ago to Tiananmen Square in China. Think back to Venezuela. Think back to North Korea and how those governments chose to address that particular situation. Yes, there are bona fide reasons to protest, but at the end of the day, you can do so without fear of not only repercussions, but having your entire family's genealogy erased from the face of the earth. It's a beautiful thing. And some might have you to believe, at this point in our nation's history, that there's nothing to celebrate. Well, I am a big believer in context. And when all is said and done, this country does more for more people probably than any other, maybe in the history of humankind. And most of the things that we do, we don't have to, but we do them because we love our freedoms, our liberties, and the American way. Ask the folks that are lining up right now, scheming, planning, plotting, thinking of ways to come into this country, some legal, others illegal, to be a part of what we have here. You know, you've heard me say so many times that if Americans had the opportunity to get outside of this country and live in other places, it might give us a more realistic appreciation for what we have here in this country. It's a beautiful thing to live in a country where if you are willing to put in the work and, more importantly, the sacrifice, you can be anything you want to be. Do you know how privileged we are in that regard? I can only hope that the individual that was just absolutely incredulous that a person of color would celebrate the 4th of July, I can only hope that that person happens to see this show. And maybe, just maybe, that person will then start to realize that beauty is where you find it. Now, if you are one of those that is looking for a reason to hate, you will find it. And as is the case so many times, if you don't find it, you'll make one up. But when all is said and done, if you have ever been so fortunate as to get a realistic look at what everybody else on this planet has, it'll make you think again. It is a beautiful thing to live in a country where, even though the mainstream media incessantly lies by either omission or commission, you can still educate yourself as far as what the truth actually is. Yes, I celebrate the 4th. And God willing, when it rolls around, if I'm still here next year, I'm going to celebrate it again. Why? Because it's America, the beautiful. And God could have put me anywhere else on this planet. But thankfully, He made me an American. And for that, I will be forever grateful, and I will forever celebrate the independence that brought this nation about, the liberties, the freedoms that I am now afforded as an American. Simply put, it's a beautiful thing. I only hope my friend that was so incredulous in the checkout line this past weekend is watching today. And hopefully that person will take the time to truly reflect on just how beautiful America is. I need to get the first break of hour 1 out of the way. I had to get that off my chest. I should have, in retrospect, I should have gone to the middle of the store and just started singing America the Beautiful just to see how many people would join in. Then again, I might have ended up on the news. You never know. First break of hour 1. We'll talk more when we come back for the Monday edition of the Clarence Buggs Show, right where you've got it, here on the Pelican. Stay close.
I owed the IRS $10,000.
The IRS garnished my wages.
They put a lien on my house.
I'm self-employed and didn't report all my income. They claim I owe a lot more than I do.
The IRS is the most powerful collection agency in the world. They do not give up until you pay.
I couldn't sleep. We were being audited. I called Tax Solutions Now, and a great big weight was lifted off my shoulders.
I called Tax Solutions Now, and they got the IRS off my back.
Tax Solutions Now had my wage garnishment lifted in 48 hours.
Tax Solutions Solutions Now can get you help. Our agents know the rules, can stop the pain, and get you the best deal.
Tax Solutions Now saved my business.
I qualified for the Fresh Start program. I paid less than I owed.
We connect you with a team of former IRS agents and tax professionals who get the IRS off your back. Time is running out. Call Tax Solutions now.
Call 800-778-4345. 800-778-4345.
From appetizers, pasta dishes, and entrees, La Contea takes pride in preparing all the Italian cuisine we know you love. Enjoy live music every Thursday through Saturday from 6 to 9, happy hour weekdays from 3 to 6, and brunch on Sundays from 11 to 2, as well as dinner portion-sized lunch specials for under $10. Visit our website to view our menu and book a party or meeting in our large banquet room. Once you try La Contea, your Italian dining will change forever.
Hi, gang. Clarence Bugs here. Cox Cable is upgrading the signal from the Pelican, but to catch us, you're going to have to tune in now to a new number. Acadiana, New Orleans, Baton Rouge, Gramercy, Lutcher. Check your guide for details.
Hi, I'm Bobby Yarborough with Manda Fine Meats. Here at Manda, we know what the folks of South Louisiana love. They love great flavored smoked sausage, delicious deli meats, and specialty items like boudin and andouille sausage. Manda Fine Meats has been providing these products since 1947. We produce them right here in Baton Rouge, so you know you're always getting the freshest product at your local grocery store. Manda Fine Meats. Taste the fresh local flavor in everything we make. Make it Manda every time.
Bolello's Furniture and Appliances, your dependable independent. Depend on us for service, for selection, for price. Get huge Whirlpool savings. Shop now and save on Whirlpool appliances throughout the store. Plus, experience our price match guarantee and ask about special financing. You can depend on the know-how of people who live appliances every day. Bolello's Furniture and Appliances, your dependable independent with nationwide buying power.
Welcome back to a very stormy Monday edition of the Clarence Bug Show. We are in the capital region under flood watch until Tuesday, and it is now 10:18. And if you are in the capital region, you are probably in the midst of just an absolute downpour right now. So remember the phrase that has become so popular in recent memory: if you are driving, please, if there's any doubt whatsoever about the depth of the water you are attempting to navigate your way through in your vehicle, turn around. Don't drown. That's something that would be needless. And it's not as though we don't have enough things out there, COVID-19, not to mention any names, that could take us all out. The last thing we need is a tragedy of that sort. The entire film world today is in mourning. And for those of you that are viewing right now, I will ask you, as I put the question earlier to floor director extraordinaire Marty, what are the most famous 8 notes in all of the Western movie genre? It's 8 simple notes, not accompanied by anything else, no orchestra, none of that. 8 simple notes, the most famous in all of the Western genre. I was going to ask my go-to Italian guy in the truck how to pronounce the last name, but I was informed that as ardent an Italian as he is, all he actually knows is ravioli, fettuccine, pastrami, salami. That's all he actually knows, but he's supposedly this big-time Italian, right? Last name, and hopefully he's listening in the truck, he can tell me. Is it Morricone or Morricone? M-O-R-R-I-C-O-N-E. Maury, M-O-R-R-I-C-O-N-E. Alan, is it Morricone or Morricone? Let's see if he answers out in the truck. Morricone. That's what I thought. Ennio Morricone, dying at the age of 91. Why should you know his name? Well, you know his music. He was an absolute epic individual at writing scores, musical scores for movies. The good, the bad, the ugly, now you know. The most famous 8 notes in all of the Western TV and film genre. He also wrote the soundtracks for classic Hollywood gangster movies like The Untouchables, the epic Once Upon a Time in America. Ennio Morricone dying from complications following a recent fall where he broke his leg at the age of 90. During his career that spanned decades, he won the Oscar for Lifetime Achievement in 2007 and collaborated with some of Hollywood's and Italy's top directors, including The Untouchables by Brian De Palma, The Hateful Eight by Quentin Tarantino, and The Battle of Algiers by Guillo Pontecorvo. Man, I could probably be a black Italian pronouncing all these names, right? That film by Quentin Tarantino, by the way, won him the Oscar for the Best Original Score in 2017. Interestingly, one of the quotes that Ennio Morricone will be remembered for is that, quote, "There is no great music without a great film that inspires it." Throughout his lifetime, he produced more than 400 original scores for feature films. His iconic so-called spaghetti western saw him work with the late Italian film director Sergio Leone, who was credited, by the way, with nothing less than reinventing music for Western movies. And you know, in today's age, and I wouldn't be surprised in the least if and when it happens, we can no longer call them spaghetti westerns. For those of you like yours truly, who is a baby boomer, spaghetti westerns are just a part of our upbringing. And for the younger people that may be viewing today, they were called spaghetti westerns because they were directed by Italians. And of course, Italians known for their love of spaghetti and pasta and so on and so forth. But I gotta think it's just a matter of time probably before the term spaghetti western will be derogatory. So enjoy it while you can, because, you know, we are in this age and in this time right now where, you know, everybody's upset about everything, and, you know, that is what that is. It is, speaking of a different day, it's ominous, for lack of a better word, where we are headed in this country. Did you see the story out of Virginia this weekend where officials in Richmond, Virginia decided that we need to force a construction company to remove their giant American flag from a construction site, claiming it was a potential target for protesters. Quote, "Over the past month, we've seen buildings and structures around Capitol Square vandalized, and flags, dumpsters, a bus, and other items set ablaze during demonstrations around the city. When we saw the flag, we were concerned that it could become a target. So we told the contractor to remove it." Is this what we have come to in this country? You order a legal, bona fide company doing nothing more than their job, constructing whatever the building is, and because of their love for the country, they are flying the flag over the construction site. And because we're concerned that Old Glory may become a target, we can be ordered to take it down. The owner of the company, by the way, in responding, issued the following. This is the flag that our company made out of tarps that we use on buildings. We thought it would be a good idea to hang it, which we did at the new General Assembly job in downtown Richmond, Virginia. Early on, it got great reviews, and thank you for allowing us to do it. But we got a call, and we now have to remove it. It seems the state deemed it a target this weekend for protesters. Since when is this flag on this weekend, all caps, in this country, a target? Let me guess. If I had a Black Lives Matter flag, it would be okay. The American flag is a symbol of freedom. Many men and women died to maintain this freedom. Many more fought and are still fighting to keep this freedom. And you make us remove it? How about we remove the individuals that would target this freedom and liberty symbol? When individuals, quote, leaders, decide that it is okay to remove a symbol just because we feel it may be a target is one thing. But to remove a symbol that you feel may, not definitively, may be a target, and it is the symbol of our country, it's just about time to stick a fork in us, y'all, because we're just about done. I understand full well that there are those out there that feel America's history is something they don't want to honor. I get that. I understand that. But at the end of the day, it is the symbol of our country. And while, and here's the irony in all of this. It is okay, the Supreme Court has ruled, for people to deface the flag. You've seen it. People burn it. Just this weekend, protesters in our nation's capital made a big to-do about filming individuals stomping on the flag, walking all over the flag. You've seen the video, I'm sure. It's okay for individuals to deface the flag. And now, apparently, we've arrived at a point where it's okay to make people remove the flag. Why? Because it might become a target. It might be funny if it weren't so pathetic. Some of y'all not going to get that till later, but that's okay. Maybe as we take this bottom of the hour commercial break, maybe the light switch will come on for you. Then again, maybe not. Bottom of the hour break. We get her done. And then we roll on with more of a stormy Monday edition of the Clarence Bug Show right here on the Pelican. Stay close.
Hi, I am Dr. Farrell Frugier Jr., and I am a general dentist at Frugier Family Dentistry. I was born and raised in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. I went to Catholic High School, LSU, and LSU School of Dentistry in New Orleans, where I received my DDS degree in 1986. I always have and will continue to be committed to continuing my education, to invest in technology which makes the diagnosis and delivery of dentistry more thorough, more comfortable, and more aesthetically pleasing. In our practice, we are here to serve the patients. We want to improve their quality of life and to develop relationships with our patients. In dentistry, we have a chance to impact lives on a daily basis, not just by doing dentistry, but by getting to know them and being a part of their life. We also believe in giving back to our community. So every year, we give back to the Greater Baton Rouge Food Bank, Toys for Tots, and Mary Bird Perkins Cancer Center. Please stop by and visit our office. We would love to take care of you and your family.
Hello guys, it's Debbie. It's time. I've got a brand new location. 10510 Airline Highway, Baton Rouge, next to After 5 Tuxedos. We have the perfect spot to get all your wedding and formal wear needs. Come see our one-of-a-kind name brand and get great prices. With 30 years experience, the best customer service anywhere. It's Debbie's Bridal, Airline Highway, Baton Rouge. See you soon.
For total home pest control, who are you going to call?
Call the Bug Man, 923-BUGS.
For total pest control for your home or business, call the original Salvant.
Call the Bug Man today, 923-BUGS.
They said I could find you here. Why are you fishing? Our company's got to ship out 2 full color brochures and 20 color copies. You're killing me.
It's done. Designed, printed, packaged, and shipped.
How?
You just got to know the right people. Baker Printing, the printing people.
How come you get to fish in this private lake?
Like I said, you just got to know the right people. You can know the right people too.
Welcome back to a stormy Monday edition of the Clarence Bug Show here on the Pelican. Maybe we should have used Stormy Monday as our bumper as our bumper music today, because man, it is cutting up outside. And if you've not gotten out and about for your appointed rounds this day, obviously rain gear is a must. But also be aware as you drive, because we are under a flood watch through tomorrow. And the way it is cutting up out of doors right now, it is certainly warranted, and the possibility exists that you may well encounter some flooding as you make your way around the city. And of course, you know, those of us that are locals, and this applies to everyone, wherever you live, you know the trouble spots, you know the places that typically flood. So, you know, there you go. With all the COVID-19 and all this other stuff going on, the last thing we want you to have to deal with is a potential drowning or the ruining of your vehicle because you drive into a flooded area. Little common sense, guys and girls, little common sense. Speaking of common sense, parents, you've got to make it a point to talk to your kids, and you've got to make it a point to know what they are bringing into your home. This past weekend, a tragic occurrence that an individual now is going to be dealing with for the rest of his life. Jonish Bell, 18 years of age, facing a negligent homicide charge after shooting a visitor at his home. This 18-year-old, in the ensuing investigation, told investigators that he was handling a gun before loading the weapon, pointing it at the victim, and pulling the trigger. His arrest record shows that he told investigators he, quote, had consumed alcohol and just wasn't thinking. That is as tragic a scenario as you're going to ever encounter. And obviously, number one, at 18 years of age, you're not old enough to legally consume alcohol. And, you know, as an adult that enjoys adult beverages, I can't imagine consuming alcohol to the point where I just lose all cognitive thought. Meaning, it's one thing to overindulge. It is something else entirely to indulge to the point where all common sense leaves the room. Not only are you, quote, handling a gun, but then you load the gun. Now, it says something that of the individuals involved in this case, even if the others had consumed alcohol, that neither of them said, you know what, this ain't cool, bruh. After handling the gun and then loading the gun, this 18-year-old then points the gun at a visitor to his home. It is beyond my imagination that at that point, having progressed entirely too far, nothing was done to stop it. And of course, after that, he pulled the trigger. At 18 years of age, I cannot imagine, well, for that matter, at any age, having to live the rest of my life with the burden of having taken another human life in the course of, quote, just not thinking. I get it. 18-year-olds these days have grown up in an age where they see it all the time, they hear it all the time, it happens just like rain, all the time. I get that. But at the same time, as a baby boomer, I grew up in an era where every Saturday, every morning, every weekend, many times during the week, we watched Westerns, we watched cop and robber TV shows and movies, we watched cartoons where firearms violence was a part of the genre. It was all over the TV, all over media. And yet, the overwhelming majority of us never once, as firearms owners, never once thought about shooting someone. And God forbid if our parents found out we had been, quote, playing with a gun. This 18-year-old will have to shoulder this burden for the rest of his life. And I can't begin to imagine every single time for the rest of his life when a news story comes on about someone's life being taken needlessly. He's going to have to relive that all over again. Parents, I cannot stress enough, you've got to talk to your kids and know what they're bringing in your home. This is tragic on so many levels. An 18-year-old having to carry this the rest of his life, and another family who will never ever see their child again. Marty, did I see you? Ralph is on one. Ralph, good morning. How are you, my friend?
Great. How you doing, sir?
It's still a great day to be an American, Ralph.
Very awesome. Well, several things I wanted to. I like the interview you gave with the Baton Rouge police chief last week, I think.
Oh yeah, with Murphy Paul.
But the most amazing thing is when you brought up the crime and the murder rate. He appeared to be very evasive, though.
Yeah, well, and you probably heard me tell him, "Come on, Chief. This Bugs you're talking to. Tell the truth." It's a police chief's job has become so political. If I were to ask him that question off the air, I'd probably get a different answer, Ralph. But you know how that works. You know better than anybody how that works, Ralph. It's political.
And number two, there was a murder in Port Allen. They had one in South Baton Rouge and one off of Airline or some other Greenville Street. Now, during that time, people are downtown fussing about a statue.
Right.
And there was another one, rally for Sterling. And my thing is, once again, I've said this again, where is the problem of the street violence, though? They rather sit back and be at a statue and even the Clinton area, but nobody wants to talk about the murder rate, because look at what happened in Chicago, look what's happened in New York, and nobody wants to talk about it. They all appear to want to talk about a statue.
Ralph, you are wise beyond your years, and just for the record, you know somebody, Ralph, who is going to talk about it. Stay tuned for the second hour. Ralph, I got to run. Thank you, my friend. Ralph, it's as though you saw ahead of time what I'm talking about in the second hour. Atlanta, New York, Chicago, and ironically, just about the preponderance of other cities that have been run by Democrats for years. Murder rate is going through the roof. And yet, what do we want to do, Ralph? We want to defund the po-po. Yeah, Ralph, you're going to get me started early, brother. Second hour, Ralph, both barrels on that, because it is disgusting, it's insulting, I don't have enough descriptive terms, even from a guy who makes his living with words, to talk about that. Where's the outrage? Hour two, Ralph, hang in there with me, trust me, we're going knee deep in this one. Because like you say, somebody needs to talk about it. And Ralph, you have listened for many years now, and I appreciate that more than I can say. And you know how much it pains me, how much I've talked about it. I look forward, Ralph, to the day when this is one thing I don't have to talk about. But I would be remiss in my duties, Ralph, being blessed and honored to occupy a chair. Knowing what's going on, know all about it, and join the rest of the media in not talking about it. Sarge would never have that, Ralph. You know that. Sarge would be seriously upset to know you have this knowledge and you don't share it with the people that need it the most. Hour two, Ralph, right around the corner. Let me get my final break of this hour out of the way. We'll do so, and we'll talk more as we continue the stormy Monday edition of the Clarence Bug Show, right where you've got it, only on the Pelican. Stay close.
Hi, I'm Bobby Yarborough with Manda Fine Meats. Here at Manda, we know what the folks of South Louisiana love. They love great flavored smoked sausage, delicious deli meats, and specialty items like boudin and andouille sausage. Manda Fine Meats has been providing these products since 1947. We produce them right here in Baton Rouge, so you know you're always getting the freshest product at your local grocery store. Manda Fine Meats. Taste the fresh local flavor in everything we make. Make it Manda every time.
No one can stop me when I taste the feeling. Nothing could ever bring me down. Nothing could ever bring me down. Taste the feeling.
Exiles from what you ask? Exiled from the radio. But now we're on your television.
I'm Bill Perfita. He's Kevin Gallagher, and they kicked us to the curb.
But we're back.
We are back with Exiles Television on the Pelican Broadcasting Network. We're going to bring you the newsmakers. We're also going to take your calls and give you great information. It's going to be the best damn radio show on television.
Look for it on your cable system or download the app, PelicanSportsTV.com.
From appetizers, pasta dishes, and entrees, La Contea takes pride in preparing all the Italian cuisine we know you love. Enjoy live music every Thursday through Saturday from 6 to 9, happy hour weekdays from 3 to 6, and brunch on Sundays from 11 to 2, as well as dinner portion-sized lunch specials for under $10. Visit our website to view our menu and book a party or meeting in our large banquet room. Once you try La Contea, your Italian dining will change forever.
Live and play on the fairway at Greystone Golf and Country Club, a serene, challenging golf destination located in Denham Springs. For tee times and membership opportunities, go to GreystoneCountryClub.com.
Welcome back to hour one of this stormy Monday edition of the Clarence Bug Show. I'm laughing because during the last commercial break, and if you've been with us since the start of the show, you've heard the crackling of the lightning and the roar of the thunder and the like. And of course, as hard as it's raining right now, it's getting, quote, dark outside. So Marty and I, who happens to be white, we're in here laughing. I'm saying, can't say it's getting dark anymore. L'Oreal Cosmetics said we can't use white or whitening. We can't use light or lightning. So Marty looks outside and said, you're right. It is getting so not white out there. That's what we've come to. Oh, speaking of, this is what we've come to. Never let it be said that there are not people out there that don't appreciate a good controversy and a good crisis. What's the old saying? Never let a crisis go to waste. I guess I should understand that with the nature of the beast being what it is in America these days, that there is no shame in using something for your personal benefit. Have you heard what may well be the most ludicrous claim to come out of the racial strife in America today? Bill Cosby, convicted sexual assaulter, some say serial. I guess when 60 plus women come forth claiming you drugged them and then sexually assaulted them, that would qualify you for a serial rapist. But his lawyers are now claiming, Bill Cosby's lawyers, systemic racism led to his conviction. Quote, the false conviction of Bill Cosby is so much bigger than him. It's about the destruction of all black people and people of color in America. So let me get this straight. It was systemic racism that, since white people control Hollywood, it was systemic racism that allowed you to become a megastar. It was apparently systemic racism that allowed you to have arguably the biggest family values television show in the history of America. Apparently, it was systemic racism that led to you having the moniker America's Dad. And apparently, it was systemic racism that led you to slip Quaaludes and alcohol to 60 some odd women and then sexually assault them. Listen, y'all. Only a fool would believe two things. One, that there is no racism in America. Right on time. And only a fool would believe that you are ever going to be able to wipe out all vestiges of racism. Lest we forget, racism is a learned behavior. People that hate black people were taught to hate black people. People that hate white people were taught to hate white people. And as long as we have human beings on this planet, there will be those who will hate other people for whatever reason. But to use the excuse systemic racism when you have been afforded every single resource and opportunity that white America has to offer is insulting. What is so ironic here is that Bill Cosby, in his lifetime, had what could be described at best as a tenuous relationship with the black community. Bill Cosby, as you well know, was castigated over the years because of his positions and his stances on people of color taking care of people of color. Throughout the years, Bill Cosby was a huge advocate for if you don't want to be saddled as a single parent, if you don't want to have to rely on other people, then one, get an education, and two, wait until you are married and in a stable household before you bring children into this world. Oh my God, you would think the man had crucified Jesus. He was a staunch supporter of that, obviously among other things, but that's a different show for a different day. So for him to now claim systemic racism makes me wonder, are you grasping at straws, or are you hoping maybe there's some goodwill for you still left in the black community? I didn't know what I wanted to do more when I read the story. Throw up or laugh hysterically, or both. Bill Cosby, of all the people on the planet, now claiming his conviction, falsely convicted, was because of systemic racism in America. You know, the old folks tell us, if you live long enough, if God blesses you to stick around here long enough, you'll see and or hear just about everything. I must be getting close to the end of my life because God knows I've heard it all. Bill Cosby, of all people, claiming systemic racism. Never, ever, ever let a good crisis go to waste. I fear for the soul of my country because we apparently have arrived at a point in time where common sense is no longer with us, and we are so easily swayed and led to things that really, not even in the grand scheme of things, in the smallest of contexts, don't mean a darn thing. But that's what we've become. And you know, with every passing day, I am more and more of the opinion that it's only because those of us that possess common sense, those of us that love this country, those of us who understand what is truly going on, we don't make as much noise as the rest of the folks do. Those who protest, those who riot, those who loot, they make all the noise. The rest of us, we go about our daily lives pursuing our interpretation, view of the American dream, and we allow others, as abhorrent as their opinions and actions may be, we allow them to hog the spotlight. Simple question for those of us that have done this for far too long now. How's that working out for us? How's that working out for us? You know, there's something to be said about longevity. And for those of us that are baby boomers, we start entertaining our own mortality around this point in our lives. But I'll be honest with you guys and girls, the federal government doesn't print enough money for me to go back and start over again. I would not want to be a child right now for anything. Because aside from losing, apparently, many of us, our moral compass in this country, we've also lost the ability to think for ourselves. What's the term we've coined now? Sheeple? We're no longer people. We are people that are easily led like sheep. We're sheeple. And if you doubt the authenticity of that, come on, Clarence, you're being over dramatic. If you doubt the authenticity of that, stick around and let me get this break out of the way. We're going to talk about how folks are protesting, rioting, looting, the whole nine for social justice in America. And yet this past weekend, it was almost genocidal against black people by other black people in America. We got to talk, y'all, and we do it right after this break. Stay close.
Hello guys, it's Debbie. It's time. I've got a brand new location. 10510 Airline Highway, Baton Rouge, next to After 5 Tuxedos. We have the perfect spot to get all your wedding and formal wear needs. Come see our one-of-a-kind name brand and get great prices. With 30 years experience, the best customer service anywhere. It's Debbie's Bridal, Airline Highway, Baton Rouge. See you soon.
No one can stop me when I taste the feeling. Nothing could ever bring me down. Nothing could ever bring me down. Taste the feeling. desire in your eyes, but you can't keep it in your heart. 'Cause misery loves company. 'Cause misery loves company. Cold and hungry like a dog in the street. I get a raw deal every one.
Hi, gang. Clarence Bugs here. Some big changes are coming to the Pelican and Cox Cable. July 15th, our numbers are changing. We're easier to find, and we're in high def. New Orleans, Gramercy, Lutcher, Acadiana, Patterson, Baton Rouge, new numbers coming, and a brand new signal. It all happens July 15th on Cox Cable. Do your buddy Clarence a favor, will you? Get all the details by checking your local guide.
For total home pest control, who are you going to call?
Call the Bug Man, 923-BUGS.
For total pest control for your home or business, call the original Salvant.
Call the Bug Man today, 923-BUGS.
Welcome back as we start hour 2 of our somewhat slightly less now stormy Monday edition of the Clarence Bug Show. It'll probably crank up again in a moment. If you have not been out and about today, be advised, guys, girls, we are under a flood watch in the capital region. And if it is not raining where you are, just stay there. It will probably be there before you know it. Last hour, Ralph, you have no idea how much you blessed me, my brother. You have no idea. Got a call from a dear friend of the show. Ralph called and said, Clarence, I just don't understand how we continue to allow the media to snooker, hoodwink, bamboozle us about things that we as people of color should be concerned about in this country. Question: how many black people were killed by police over the weekend? Obviously the answer is none, because if there were a single one, it would have been plastered all over the news. It would have been, the next 24-hour news cycle would have been consumed with it. How many white people randomly did drive-bys in predominantly black neighborhoods and killed people of color? Obvious answer, none. Well, how do you know that? Was it plastered all over the news? Was CNN booking a truck to come down to the neighborhood and ask people? No. Meanwhile, in the city of Chicago this weekend, 76 people shot, 17 dead, including a 7-year-old. In one weekend, y'all, 76 people shot, 17 dead, including a 7-year-old. Now, this is one weekend after a 10-year-old and a 7-year-old were killed when 60 some odd people were shot. The weekend before that, Father's Day weekend, same thing. And of course now in New York, not too far behind, Atlanta, not too far behind. Where's the outrage? Where's the protest? Where's the marching? And to show you how the media has betrayed your trust, not a peep out of all of this, and what do we come up with as a solution, well, we defund the police. That is the stupidest thing I've ever heard in my life. What kind of idiot comes up with a city where 70 some odd people are shot in a weekend? Just the weekend. 14 dead, 17 dead. One weekend after, 60 some odd are shot. 9 dead, including 2 teenagers and a 3-year-old. And 1 weekend removed from 60 some odd shot, including a 10-year-old shot dead. And I love my job, so let me rein this back in. Your solution is to defund the police? What kind of idiot are you? Meanwhile, the president has offered federal help. Now, you know what's going to happen, right? These are Democrat-controlled cities. These are black people who will benefit from it, so they are going to fight tooth and nail. Obviously, because one, we can't have Trump getting credit for helping lower this scourge on our country. Oh no, we can't have that. Let me tell y'all something. As a black man, I don't care if it's Ho Chi Minh. I don't care if it's Joseph Stalin. 2 dead folks, by the way, for those of y'all that don't know. If they can come up with a solution to help end the genocide of black people in this country at the hands of other black people, I'm willing to listen. I'm willing to listen. But please, y'all, for God's sake, do us all a favor and stop coming up with these absolute asinine ideas like defund the police. Well, Clarence, you got to understand, we're not going to defund the police. We're going to take some money out of law enforcement's budget, and we're going to have, this is even better, y'all, unarmed community responders. Let me tell you something. 3 o'clock in the morning, I'm hearing strange noises in my house. 3 o'clock in the morning, I'm worried about the life that God has given me, not to mention the lives of the wife, the kids. You better not send some unarmed community responder to my house. We have lost it, y'all. Listen, I understand if you are one of those individuals that has had negative experiences with law enforcement in your lifetime. I get that. Nobody's perfect. There are probably, we might have to come up with a new number of people of color that have experienced at some point in their life either discrimination or they've had a bad experience with law enforcement. I get it. But for God's sake, y'all, you don't throw the baby out with the bathwater. And here's the irony here. For those of you that don't either possess the intellectual capacity or simply haven't taken the time to think this thing all the way through, you are hurting the community of people that need law enforcement the most. You are crippling, hindering, lowering the quality of life for the community of people that need it the most. Here's a novel idea. How about for all of you promoting defund the police, here's a novel idea. I know you never thought about it, and I forgive you. No harm, no foul. But instead of defunding the police, how about you march your non-caring, sorry behind down to the police station, find out when the next police academy is, and you go through the academy and then swear an oath to protect and serve. Here's a novel idea. Instead of defunding the police, how about we make a concerted push to pay them more so we can get more qualified individuals pursuing a career of protecting and serving? Or better yet, do it yourself. If you are so disgruntled with the way police treat folk, they take all comers. No criminal record, march yourself right on down and sign up for the next academy. But for God's sake, y'all, listen. One of the things that separates us, human beings, from the rest of the animal kingdom is our ability to reason. Sadly, we can make ourselves believe anything we want to believe. Now, just because you believe it doesn't mean it's true. And at the end of the day, bottom line, if you are so disgruntled with the state of education in America, then get a degree and become a teacher. If you are so disgruntled with the state of law enforcement in America, here's a novel idea. Go to school, get your degree in criminal justice, and as soon as you get that sheepskin, head right down there and sign up for the next academy. Go out there underpaid, underappreciated, outgunned, and maybe, just maybe, then you'll see things in a little different light. Not a peep. Chicago, Atlanta, New York. Go down the list. Go St. Louis, Kansas City, Birmingham, LA, Oakland, God forbid. Just go down the list. Where is the outrage? In Chicago alone, just on the weekends, it is approaching a point of being genocidal. But wait, I thought Black Lives Matter. Well, apparently they only matter to some mainstream media and Democrats, not to call any names, but apparently Black lives only matter when it's a white guy that takes the black life. Otherwise, I guess if you watch, ABC, NBC, CBS, MSNBC, if you watch those folk, then apparently they're saying to themselves, just black folk killing black folk, nothing to see here, that ain't news, moving on. And yet, this day, there will be people in our nation's streets screaming, protesting, burning stuff. And yet, it's enough to make you sick. Somebody needs to say it. And fortunately for you, you've tuned into the channel where there's just the guy to do it. First break of hour 2. We're going to talk more right where you've got it. The Monday edition of the Clarence Bug Show here on the Pelican. Stay close.
Sometimes life is wonderful, and sometimes it's not. Cherish the good. but always be prepared for life's challenges. At Private Healthcare, we provide the peace of mind you deserve. With Private Healthcare, you'll get the coverage you want and healthcare you need. If your employer doesn't supply healthcare coverage and you don't qualify for Medicare or Medicaid, you need to give us a call right now. Private Healthcare is private health insurance for ages 65 and under with medical, dental, vision, and even prescription coverage. When life comes at you unexpectedly, you need to be ready. And health insurance is your financial safety net. Health insurance has never been so easy and affordable. If you're looking for health coverage at the best price and your annual household income is $35,000 or more, call the number on the screen now and speak with a live healthcare consultant. Don't wait. Get the coverage you need now.
I'll leave for a little while. And all you other letters think you can take over my town. Look at you. None of you's even a vowel. If the people want the money they deserve for their accident,
The guarantee.
and as for you other letters, it's time you were erased.
That's right, the Clarence Bug Show is back, along with the Exiles, Bill Profita and Kevin Gallagher. We've put the band back together, South Louisiana's talk team, and it's only on the Pelican. 10 a.m. till 12 noon, right here on the Pelican.
From appetizers, pasta dishes, and entrees, La Contea takes pride in preparing all the Italian cuisine we know you love. Enjoy live music every Thursday through Saturday from 6 to 9, happy hour weekdays from 3 to 6, and brunch on Sundays from 11 to 2, as well as dinner portion-sized lunch specials for under $10. Visit our website to view our menu and book a party or meeting in our large banquet room. Once you try La Contea, your Italian dining will change forever.
Welcome back to hour 2 of our Monday edition of the Clarence Bug Show. A little respite from our broadcast location here in, what would we call this, Marty? We've got Mid-City, North Baton Rouge. What would we call this area? See, there's even stuff white people don't know. See, there you go. There you go. It is one of those days, I think, if memory serves correct, an 80% probability that you will get rain this day. So guys, girls, please govern yourselves accordingly. We are talking this hour, and it saddens me beyond belief that we have to continue to have these conversations. And, you know, I am a believer in the old adage, conversation is the beginning of understanding. You cannot understand someone unless and until you converse with that individual. That's just a part of the human experience. Otherwise, you have to rely solely on what you've heard, what other people have told you, what you've read, et cetera, et cetera. And it's pretty much a guarantee that if you cannot speak from personal experience, then you don't truly know that individual. As a result, we now find ourselves a nation operating on a lot of assumptions. And that does not bode well, nor typically does it end well. Here's what scares me. You look at what is going on with the number of African American males being killed by others in this country, and our continual either obsession with ignoring it, or those whose job it is to inform us of these things, their reluctance for whatever reason to share this information with us. But here's the danger in all of this. White people, and probably every other ethnicity, will look at these numbers, what happened or what happens every week in Chicago, now more frequently in New York, Atlanta, Detroit, Oakland, Kansas City, St. Louis, Birmingham, New Orleans, Baton Rouge, just go down the list. All other ethnicities look at this and they don't see us protesting, marching. They don't see us responding the way we do when another person of another race kills one of us. You know what happens? They'll never tell you. But any human being would say to themselves, you know what? Yeah, it's tragic what happened to this person. And I understand, you want to protest what happened. But unless and until you start paying attention with the same fervor, unless and until you start reacting with the same indignation, unless and until you decide that you are going to sweep around your own front door, don't you dare tell me about the napkin that's sitting on my lawn. That's what they're thinking. And I can't blame them. That is likened to you having in your front yard 6 cars, all in various states of disrepair, on the servitude, parked on the lawn, and you complain to your neighbor because he left his lawnmower out overnight. There are so many people in this country that are not people of color that would love to help the black community get its act together. But one, they are deathly afraid of saying the wrong thing the wrong way at the wrong time and being labeled a racist. And just as important, they see the hypocrisy here. Wait a minute. You mean to tell me y'all tried to burn down my city when one white guy did something that we all find egregious? But at the same time, you're not saying a word about the tens of thousands of other people losing their lives just because they're black? Put the shoe on the other foot. If it were white people killing each other like 40 going north, but the only time they got upset was when somebody black killed somebody white, what would you say? You know what you say. If you are honest with yourself, you may not say it to them, but to your black friends and behind closed doors, I'm sorry that white boy lost his life, but what y'all gonna do about the rest of them white folk killing each other? Y'all deal with that, then we'll talk. We're Americans, y'all, and equality dictates that we do that. And speaking of the like, listen, a whole lot of phrases, concepts, principles are coming out of the unrest in our country around race. Listen. Diversity has its place, but let me caution you, be careful what you ask for, because you just might get it. You hear so many people these days, well, we need more diversity. You know, we got to represent this group, and we need to represent that group, and need to represent this group and that group, okay? Let's follow this train of logic to the logical conclusion. The NBA, the NFL, I'd venture a guess is what, 80, 90% African American? In the interest of diversity, we need more white people on NFL teams and NBA teams. I mean, after all, African Americans, roughly 15, 17% of the nation's population, white folk, the majority. So they should be represented equally. You know what the argument against that is going to be? Clarence, we can't do that because we want the best person for the job. We want the best athlete that's going to give our team the best chance of winning. Well, I'm glad you said that. Because if, God forbid, I have to undergo surgery, when I get ready to go under the knife, I don't care about the skin color of the surgeon. I want the best person for the job. I don't want somebody who got in because we had to make special accommodations for that person. I want the best person for the job. End of discussion. We got to understand something here, y'all. If we truly want to be equal, we got to be Americans first and foremost. We got to put aside all this other foolishness that is anything other than American. Anything less than that, you become a victim. Have you noticed? Here's your homework assignment, particularly for people that look like me. The next time you're talking with your friends about whatever the problem is that is viewed as systemic, or whatever the problem is that is caused in the African American community by white people, watch how we have come to a point in time where we live in victimhood. It is always somebody else's fault for the situation we find ourselves in. I have a dear friend, happens to be white. And he told me, he said, Clarence, I know you will take this in the spirit that it's given. He said, but your people, man, they amaze me in how they are able to play the victim card. It's like y'all hold classes on this, don't you? You can tell me, Clarence, when white people are not around, y'all hold classes on how to play the victim card. I had to just shake my head because I see it every day, y'all. I see it every single day. And circling all the way back to one of the things that separates us from the rest of the animal kingdom is our ability to reason. Guaranteed. Talk to 100 random black people in Chicago and ask, by the way, I see y'all had like 76 people shot this past weekend. 17 of them died. The weekend before that, 60 some odd were shot, 13 died. Some children in there, some babies in there. What's up with that? What y'all doing in Chicago? I'll give you 30 seconds into their answer before it's somebody else's fault. Well, Clarence, you got to understand, don't no black people make guns? How all those guns end up in the black community? When's the last time you remember white people coming in the hood, putting a gun in your hand and said, if you don't kill another young black man in the next week, I'm coming for you? When is the last time you heard that happen? Crack epidemic. Clarence, don't know white people grow, but black people don't grow cocoa plants. How does crack get in the black community? Well, I'm glad you asked that question. But more important, when's the last time you heard of white people, Colombians, Mexicans, whomever, showing up in the black community, dropping a big old bag of crack on your living room table and say, if you don't smoke this, I'm gonna kill you? But it's somebody else's fault. When's the last time you looked at the birth numbers in New York City and you realized, my God, we aborted more black children than were born last year in New York City, but it's somebody else's fault. Black people right now watching know who the Williams brothers are. Mega gospel group. They know who the Williams brothers are. I leave you with this as we head to our next commercial break. Remember the song, Sweep Around Your Own Front Door? Sweep around your own back door before you sweep around mine. I'll let that sink in as we go to commercial break. Stay close. We're coming back with more of the Monday edition of the Clarence Bug Show right here on the Pelican. Stay close.
For total home pest control, who are you going to call?
Call the Bug Man, 923-BUGS.
For total pest control for your home or business, call the original Salvant.
Call the Bug Man today, 923-BUGS.
No one can stop me when I taste the feeling. Nothing could ever bring me down. Nothing could ever bring me down. Taste the feeling.
Live and play on the fairway at Greystone Golf and Country Club, a serene, challenging golf destination located in Denham Springs. For tee times and membership opportunities, go to GreystoneCountryClub.com.
Bolello's Furniture and Appliances, your dependable independent. Depend on us for service, for selection, for price. Get huge Whirlpool savings. Shop now and save on Whirlpool appliances throughout the store. Plus, experience our price match guarantee and ask about special financing. You can depend on the know-how of people who live appliances every day. Bolello's Furniture and Appliances, your dependable independent with nationwide buying power.
Exiles from what you ask? Exiled from the radio. But now, we're on your television.
I'm Bill Profita, he's Kevin Gallagher, and they kicked us to the curb.
But we're back.
We are back with Exiles Television on the Pelican Broadcasting Network. We're going to bring you the newsmakers. We're also going to take your calls and give you great information. It's going to be the best damn radio show on television.
Look for it on your cable system or download the app, PelicanSportsTV.com.
Hi, gang. Clarence Bugs here. Some big changes are coming to the Pelican and Cox Cable. July 15th, our numbers are changing. We're easier to find, and we're in high def. New Orleans, Gramercy, Lutcher, Acadiana, Patterson, Baton Rouge, new numbers coming, and a brand new signal. It all happens July 15th on Cox Cable. Do your buddy Clarence a favor, will you? Get all the details by checking your local guide.
They said I could find you here. Why are you fishing? Our company's got to ship out 2 full color brochures and 20 color copies. You're killing me.
It's done. Designed, printed, packaged, and shipped.
How?
You just got to know the right people. Baker Printing, the printing people.
How come you get to fish in this private lake?
Like I said, you just got to know the right people. You can know the right people too.
Thank you, Marty. Welcome back to hour 2 of our Monday edition of the Clarence Bug Show. Need a favor from you guys and girls out there. We are in the process of adding new members of the Pelican family. And for those of you that are regular radio listeners in the Capital Region, the name Betsy Barnes and the name Dr. K. Solar are familiar names to you. And they will be launching a new show here on the Pelican in the near future. So keep an eye out for it and give them a chance. They're good people, 2 great ladies, and you'll like, I think, what they bring to the table. And, of course, I would be remiss in my duties if I didn't mention that tomorrow and on Thursday, the Exiles, my main guys, Bill Profita, Kevin Gallagher, will be here in the chair, same bat time, same bat station, and, of course, yours truly will be back on Wednesday. Oh, before I forget, I thought about it because I was telling Marty about it in the last break. Before I forget, I've got to say a very heartfelt and warm good morning to a great guy. Got a call this past weekend, clear out of the blue. And, you know, you develop habits with your cell phone, particularly when you are aware of all the scam artists, all the fake stuff going on, you know, and this, that, and the other. You look at your cell phone many times and you see a number that you don't recognize or a number that has no caller ID on it. And it's like time slows down. It's the slow-mo effect. And you're debating with yourself, right? There's your left self on the left shoulder. There's your right self on the right shoulder. And the two of them are talking to you in your head. You recognize this number, bro? Nah, I don't know who this is. Why they calling me? This time I'm wondering, who is this bothering me? Should I answer it? Nah, bro, don't answer that. Don't answer that, whatever you do. Come on, live a little, bro. Answer it. It might be important. You never know. So I listened to the little guy on the right. I said, all right, I'm going to answer this. Lo and behold, it is the Hall of Famer, legendary, all-around great guy, Coach Dale Brown. Oh, talk about made my day. Long story short, Coach says, Clarence, I saw the show. And I'm waiting on the other shoe to drop, right? He says, my friend, keep doing what you do. He said, you are such a breath of fresh air. You don't take sides, you just tell the truth. The truth is what the truth is. Now, if you don't like it, well, that's on you. But all I can do is deliver the mail. And Coach, rest assured, I will never, as long as God blesses me to sit in a chair, I will never stop telling the truth. To do anything else would not be me. You have to be in this life who you are. And at the end of the day, yes, I'm concerned when an unarmed black person loses their life at the hands of law enforcement. I'm upset. But if I am going to be that upset over this one law enforcement officer that betrayed his oath to protect and serve, how upset am I supposed to be when 8,000 young black men in 1 year are killed by other young black men? I know, as a conservative and a man of color, I've heard, I don't have enough fingers and toes to count the number of times I've had my brothers tell me, man, you hard on black folk, Clarence. Well, here's what you have to understand. I have to be my own worst critic. As an American, I am obligated to be my own worst critic. If I am not my own worst critic, then when I come to the table to talk with the rest of America, one, I'm going to have to defend, well, wait a minute, why aren't y'all protesting about this? Wait a minute, this affects y'all a whole lot more. Why? What about this? Why aren't y'all saying anything about that? Secondly, as far as having to be my own worst critic, I can't go to other people and say America is falling short in this regard of helping its citizens. I can't rightfully. That's like your buddy calls you up and says, man, I'm in a jam, bro. I need to borrow $20. I got to get some food on the table. The kids are hungry. Okay. So you go by your buddy's house or tell him, come on, man, I'm at home. Come on by right now. You give him $20. Later that evening, you and the missus decide, let's go down to the casino and take in the buffet. We got a few extra dollars. Maybe we'll play some slots or whatever it is y'all do at the casino. As you can probably tell, I'm not a gambler. You and the missus walk into the casino, and who is it over there yanking on that slot machine but your buddy that said, man, I need $20 to pay to feed my kids? You know how you would feel? It's a shame I can't say on TV what y'all would be saying in your head. Same thing with white folk and black folk, y'all, and being an American. We are obligated to be our own worst critics. That way, number one, you'll be amazed at how quickly you can find solutions to the problems that plague your community. Number two, you would be amazed at the number of people that will come to your aid offering resources to help you. I will never forget, in the French Quarter, years ago, Jackson Square, there's a group of young, then, very, very talented African-American males. They are 7th, 8th, 9th grade, roughly. And these guys are gymnasts, self-taught, that you would not believe. I mean, man, they're flipping each other, turning 3, 4 flips with the twists and the turns and, you know, doing the whole nine. The place is packed. Everybody's watching. They're just going crazy. At the end of the performance, the young black kid that is the spokesman who narrates the whole thing says, okay, we've approached the point in the show where we're going to ask y'all to help us out. We're going to ask y'all to give. We're going to pass the hat. In this case, it was a big box. Said, you know, understanding that we have to practice X amount of hours each day to bring this, hopefully, y'all think, very nice product to the public. We don't have time to, you know, go out and get another job because we have school during the day. We get home, we got homework. The rest of the time that we have before it's time to go to bed, we spend perfecting our routine. So we're asking you to give generously. As they're saying this, I'm looking around, you can hear guys reaching into their pocket and the change jingling. You can see and hear women opening their purses, and they're rummaging through their purses, and you can hear the coins jingling. Then the young black man, narrator, says, y'all remember, we're not asking you to give until it hurts. But in your giving, please remember, if you go past the change and give us some real money based upon what you think the caliber of this performance is, you will not only help keep us out of the poorhouse, you will also help keep us out of your house. Meaning, if you're going to pay this amount of money to go see Cirque du Soleil, then think about how our show compares to them, and then give us accordingly. Lord, y'all should have seen the white boys go back in their back pocket and pull out the wallet then. Wait a minute. You mean if I give more, I can help keep you out the poorhouse and out your house? And yes, I know I said po and yo. That's just how they said it, quote unquote. But if the show had been raggedy, if the show had been sloppy, if there'd been no entertainment value at all to the show, how many people would reach for paper money instead of pocket change? And you gotta know, as they're practicing, these young black kids are saying, man, you blew that, you blew that last 2.5 with the half twist. You gotta get that right. We're asking people to pay for this. They have to be their own worst critic. Otherwise, you can't tell people, give me paper money instead of change. They're not going to do it just because you're black. They're going to do it because they feel as though they got their money's worth. And why did they feel that way? Because you were your own worst critic. Some of y'all will get that later, I have no doubt. Final break of today's show. We'll get her done. Come back, put a big old bow on it, and wrap up the Monday edition of the Clarence Bug Show right here on the Pelican. Stay close.
From appetizers, pasta dishes, and entrees, La Contea takes pride in preparing all the Italian cuisine we know you love. Enjoy live music every Thursday through Saturday from 6 to 9, happy hour weekdays from 3 to 6, and brunch on Sundays from 11 to 2, as well as dinner portion-sized lunch specials for under $10. Visit our website to view our menu and book a party or meeting in our large banquet room. Once you try La Contea, your Italian dining will change forever.
Live and play on the fairway at Greystone Golf and Country Club, a serene, challenging golf destination located in Denham Springs. For tee times and membership opportunities, go to GreystoneCountryClub.com.
Hello guys, it's Debbie. It's time. I've got a brand new location. 10510 Airline Highway, Baton Rouge, next to After 5 Tuxedos. We have the perfect spot to get all your wedding and formal wear needs. Come see our one-of-a-kind name brand and get great prices. With 30 years experience, the best customer service anywhere. It's Debbie's Bridal, Airline Highway, Baton Rouge. See you soon.
That's right, the Clarence Bug Show is back, along with the Exiles, Bill Profita and Kevin Gallagher. We've put the band back together, South Louisiana's talk team, and it's only on the Pelican. 10 a.m. till 12 noon, right here on the Pelican.
Hello. Hola. Ni hao.
Experience what the Baton Rouge International School can offer your children. Now welcoming displaced students for short and long-term stability.
Hi, I'm Bobby Yarborough with Manda Fine Meats. Here at Manda, we know what the folks of South Louisiana love. They love great flavored smoked sausage, delicious deli meats, and specialty items like boudin and andouille sausage. Manda Fine Meats has been providing these products since 1947. We produce them right here in Baton Rouge, so you know you're always getting the freshest product at your local grocery store. Manda Fine Meats. Taste the fresh local flavor in everything we make. Make it Manda every time.
Welcome back to the final segment of our Monday edition of the Clarence Bug Show. I'm going to have to talk with Alan Traylor about the lineup of these commercials, because he always plays that Amanda smoked sausage right before we come back on set. And my stomach's growling and mouth watering and, you know, all that kind of stuff, just dreaming about some Amanda smoked sausage. But that's okay. Last segment of the show, y'all. I can take care of that in just a few minutes. Couple of quick observations and some house cleaning before we wrap up today's show. I want to remind you guys and girls that obviously we are under a flood watch today. So govern yourselves and, more importantly, your driving habits accordingly as you make your way to your appointed rounds today. Also, coming up on Wednesday's show, saw this article, this story breaking late last week, and because of the holiday and some scheduling snafus, we were not able to get them on today. But we, in response to Women's Hospital announcing that pregnant women need to take extra precautions due to COVID-19, we are in the process. As a matter of fact, I'm waiting on a call back now from one of the lead physicians there in natal care at Women's Hospital to share that information with you as well. Also, parents with kids, school-age kids, be on the lookout, because I know it's already happened in Point Capee. I would imagine EBR this week, if memory serves correct, and possibly West Feliciana. And it, in all likelihood, will end up being all 64 parishes. The various school boards are seeking your input as far as what this coming fall should be like. Whether you want your kids back in a, quote, school classroom setting, or whether you want to continue the distance learning model. They are asking for your input, and you probably can't count the number of times something has happened or transpired in education, and you just had to take it for what it was, and the typical response is, well, they didn't ask me anything about this, they just came out and did it. Well, they are asking for your input, and I would imagine there's probably not a single school district that has yet to completely formalize their plans. They need that input from you. So make it a point to answer the surveys, the calls, things of that nature, so that when the time comes, you and your children will all be comfortable going back to whatever the setting ends up being. And I understand a lot of parents now, thank you God, are back at work. So the distance learning model is kind of tough for them at this point. I get that. Make your opinions and your situations known. And I am more than reasonably sure that, taking all of this into consideration, your particular school district will in fact do right by you. But they can only do that if you see fit to take part. Now more than ever, it should be abundantly clear, particularly for those of us that are in the community of color, that the most efficient and effective way to become a part of the mainstream in this country is through education. Education is the key for your child having a better life, increasing their earning potential, not to mention simply becoming a much more well-rounded individual. You cannot do that in this country, in this day and age, without an education. And quite frankly, we owe that to our kids. They didn't ask to come here. We created them, we brought them here, and as a result, we now have an obligation to make sure that we do every single thing within our power to give them the best shot at being a success when they leave our paternal care. On top of that, it's what our country needs. We desperately need to reverse the trend that has seen American kids fall further and further and further and further behind many other industrialized countries as far as the level of educational attainment is concerned. And of course, sadly, as is the case many times, the African American community is impacted more than just about any other. Listen, there is no way you can make me believe that any one ethnicity, any one race is inherently smarter than any other. I refuse to believe that, because the world and its history is replete with cases of where people of all races, creeds, and colors have made monumental contributions to the human experience. So intelligence is not exclusive to any particular race, ethnicity, demographic, what have you. It is all in how we choose to apply ourselves. Fortunately, we live in a country that has more resources than probably any other on the planet. The only decision, when all is said and done, is do we choose to hold ourselves accountable for taking advantage of those resources? I don't know about you, but if the answer is no, I would really, truly hate to have to be the one to explain to our kids why we didn't. Just saying. My time's up, y'all, and I gotta go. Remember, flood watch till Tuesday. Govern yourself and your driving habits accordingly. You know what? On this day, you are so right. America, we're not perfect, but doggone it, from my money, it's the best there is. And God knows there's no place else on his green earth that I'd rather be. Speaking of the good Lord, you realize he loves you, right? And I hope you know, even if it's in just the smallest of terms, that I do too. Best news about all of that, there ain't a doggone thing you could do about either one. Take care of yourselves and each other. We'll see you Wednesday. God bless.